What's up guys, my name's Tom, welcome back to another video, and we are back with the F2 2020 career mode as Robert Shwartzman, the first one of this year. So apologies first of all for not having an episode on last week. It's that I've been a little bit busy. I'm going to try still to post the F1 career mode this week, but it's going to be really hard because I had some trouble with the mod installation, so it wasn't possible. But anyway, we're going to focus on the F2 championship. We are 17 points ahead of second place Nobuharu Matsushita. We had two positive rounds, a very chaotic one on the previous sprint race at Zandvoort. If you haven't checked that one out, make sure to go to. But here we are, today is time for the Spanish Grand Prix, and I'm really looking forward to see if we're going to extend our championship lead. And this weekend I'm going to run with 105 difficulty because I'm actually very strong in the F2 cars, or maybe the AI in these cars is not as good as the F1 ones. But anyway, we are on practice, but it seems that we are already on the race, going side by side with Jehan Deruvala. I believe it is with one of the Red Bull Carlins, and he's coming back again as he's going to dive down the inside, and this is kind of epic to see and very interesting to see on the practice section. And we got a very good slingshot, and okay, that was very anticlimactic. Anyway, we've gone fastest on practice. Make sure to smash like, subscribe, and to see plenty more Formula 1 and F2 content. Really motivates me to make more, and things are really starting very smoothly for us, I'm not gonna lie. Going fastest on practice in the hardest comparative tire, so maybe we can head for a very positive weekend. We'll see what we can do in this qualifying session. We'll see if we can get a second pole of the season. On the last round we just lost the pole position to Dan Tickton by less than a tenth of a second, so things are always very close to F2, and this is what F2 is all about, is basically all the fields separate by just a second or even less than a second. But anyway, we're going to focus on qualifying through the final corner. We're going to start our first lap, and we just have 4 minutes to go, and no one is getting out of the garage, so it was a thing that I found really intriguing. But through the final corner, once again, open the DRS, and we're going to cross the line. For the time being, it is P19, but it was a very weak lap. It was just a banker. You're going to see that we are already improving by 2/10 a second, which is a lot in the F2 category. And through this long right hander, the tire wear is going to be, I believe, a problem, because these cars can be sometimes very understeery. And you can see that I turn a lot of the wheel in order to turn the car as much as possible. I think it's the way to go if you want to be fast in these cars. This kind of reminds me a little bit of the driving style of Fernando Alonso. It turns a lot of wheel, but across the line we improve into P12. So we'll see. This is going to be our final lap, and it's going to be my best one, so we'll see where this lap is going to put us. It's been a decent lap from us, going purple on the first sector. Now we just have the final corner. You have to lift a little bit in these F2 cars across the line, open the DRS. Is it going to be pole position or not? We'll see. And yes, it is pole position for the Spanish Grand Prix, so definitely we're starting this weekend with a ride through 50% done, and we added 4 points to our championship lead, and we outscore our compatriot Artem Markelov by just less than a tenth of a second. So that was a pretty close qualifying, but yeah, this lap felt really good. It was very satisfying to see this lap and to do this lap. I still remember I just did this lap. I just did these races just yesterday, and remember that I felt that was a pretty decent lap. You can see last place Roy Nissany, just 8/10 of pole time, so things are very close in a track like this, which is very interesting to see. So we're going to have maybe a close race, we'll see, but we have still a lot of work to do. So without further ado, let's go to the feature race.
Welcome to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, here in Spain, for what is expected to be a very closely contested race. Here's the venue we'll be racing at, known to the teams, well known to the drivers. Many will have raced here as teenagers. We've got 16 turns, the elevation of 30 meters, and some famous moments down through the years. In commentary, I'm Alex Jakes, and I'm joined once again by 2012 GP2 champion Davide Valsecchi. Davide, I imagine you've been around this track countless times by now. Any tips for the drivers out there today?
Yeah, you're right. This is a track that has been in rotation for both Formula 1 and Formula 2 for years now. My advice is to watch your tires management. The track has a bumpy surface that can be very demanding on drivers and tires. Play it safe most of the way around, then look at the long straight into turn 1 for overtake opportunities.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Robert Shwartzman lines up on pole position, with Artem Markelov alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ticktum, Matsushita, Marcus Armstrong, and Eilert, Aitken, Lundgaard, Dragovic, Yuki Tsunoda, Piquet, Deruvala, Giuliano Alesi, and Sato, Schumacher, Joe, Mazepin, and Luca Giotto, Samaya, and Louis Delatraz, Galeo, and Roy Nissany completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Here we are, guys, on the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix, the first race, and it seems that we're going to start on the harder comparative tires. So we're going with the alternate strategy, and I can already tell you that I'm going to be the only one in this strategy. So definitely this is going to be very interesting indeed, but it seems that Jeff feels like that alternate strategy is the way to go around Spain, which TYRE is a huge factor in a track like this. But we'll see what we can do in these next 19 laps for the feature race of the Spanish Grand Prix. 5 red lights. And it's lights out, and the way we go with the lights took an absolute age to go, and it was a terrible start, a lot of wheel spin, and Markelov already in the lead, tried to stick behind to get a little bit of slipstream, but look at that Ticktum that I think he's trying to get alongside of the race leader. He's going to do so as we go into turn 1, and Marcus Armstrong tried to do something around the outside, but we managed to cover that. It is Artem Markelov that leads after turn 3, followed by Ticktum, and then myself. We had a good run on the jams, but we receive an exceeding track limit, so we have to be really careful on turn 3, but these laps are going to be an absolutely torture because we are basically on the harder comparative tire, but good traction through turn 4, very close margins with the jams of Ticktum, but thankfully there's no front wing damage. But from now on it's going to be really hard to you know, keep up with these guys because we are on the harder comparative tire, but hopefully we're going to start to get faster and faster because this is a high tire degrading track, and these soft tires are going to be degraded at the speed of light, so we need to be really patient because these next 3 or 4 laps are going to be really harsh for us, and we're going to lose a lot of time to these guys. So we'll see if we can maintain this podium as we went a little bit wide into the hairpin, and this is going to allow to Matsushita, the second place in the championship standings, to go on inside, and he takes the final step of the podium, and we are demoted in P4, so definitely not the best start, but considering that we are on the hardest comparative tire, I think I can't do much more. Maybe I could have been P3, but anyway, we're going to press on in this race. It is a long race ahead of us, and let's see if we're not going to lose any more positions. A lot of understeer through the final corner. Markelov confirms the lead of this Grand Prix, and look how much time. We are almost 1 second behind Matsushita, and Armstrong is gaining and gaining. We go in the fastest, trying to go around the outside as we go into turn 1. He's going to be really confident on the brakes, and I'm trying to do everything to hold the ART behind me, and we are still side by side through turn 3, but at the end of the day I'm still in front, and oh boy, this is going to be really hard to hold these guys. Basically I'm going to start to form a huge train, locking up a little bit. We need to be really careful with this set of boots as we have once again a little bit of the steer because we're going longer in this race. Once we are in clear air, we need to post really clean laps, very fast laps, so we don't I think force the tires at these early stages just to stay behind these just stay ahead, I should say, of these guys. Maybe it's not a good idea, but the track position can be a good factor at the end of the day. We'll see, because this is a very good track for overtaking in this game. On real life it's not the case, but anyway, we're just trying to keep these guys behind, which we're doing. So DRS I think is already enabled, but you can see that now at the end of lap 5 we get purple on the first sector, so we are starting the stage of the race where the soft tires are starting to get slower and slower, and this is going to give me a little bit of advantage. End of lap 6, we're going to set another personal best, and Armstrong is already pulling into the pits, you can see, and he's going to fit a set of hard tires, and everyone is going to do the same. Basically, we are the only one on the alternate strategies, so maybe this can go really badly for us, but it was a strategy that was on the table. We are in the championship lead, so we have a little bit of a comfort when it comes to strategy. We can risk maybe a little bit more, so that's the reason that I decided to stick with this strategy. Locking up once again a little bit. I'm kind of struggling for the tires, but one of the dam is going slow. It is Dan Tickton that is out of the race, so this is very unfortunate from Dan Tickton. Did nothing wrong. The previous feature race leader at the last episode at Zandvoort is out of the Spanish Grand Prix of the feature race. That is very unfortunate. It was maybe a certain podium for him. I don't know, it would bend of our race, and now we lose a little bit the back end. Oh boy, that was super close to put our Grand Prix to an early end, but anyway, we managed to save that. We're going to watch a replay. It was a spectacular save out of nowhere. I lost the back end, and yeah, a fantastic drift, and then I managed to catch that final tank slapper, but anyway, we find ourselves on the lead of this Grand Prix on lap 8, going still purple on the first second. Louis Delatraz, we have another DNF, and Delatraz is once again out of this race. It was out, I think, on the last episode as well, on the sprint race, and this is very unfortunate. So it seems that Charouz are not really famous when it comes to the reliability. Remember that in the last episode on the feature race, we had Pedro Piquet, which at the moment, I think it is in a virtual podium, if I'm not wrong. Yes, it is in P4, but once we pit, we're going to drop probably behind him, and we locked up a little bit, and we went massively deep into the first corner, so definitely I'm starting to feel the tires degrading a lot, and I can already tell you that I'm feeling a lot of understeer on the right handers. The left front is absolutely cooked. I think at this stage on the you can see on the MFD that we have a little bit of a warning on the tires, and I can already tell you that is because of that left rear. I think it is on the 60% if I'm not wrong. We're going to see that it is on 65%, so this is critical at the moment. Maybe I was pushing too much for the tires, and I think I don't have the feeling that we're going to win this race, because Markelov is just 16 seconds ahead of us, and now we have a 3-second time penalty, so this is very unfortunate for us. I've been kind of abusing the track limits of turn 3, that's due to the tire wear and due to the understeer, the nature understeer of these cars. But finally on lap 13 we're going to say goodbye to this set of hard tires, and we're going to dress a brand new set of soft tires. So now we're going to be mega quick against these guys, but I think it's not going to be enough to win this race, so that is going to be really unfortunate. At the moment we didn't win any feature race, which is kind of interesting to say the least, and that means that we've been very consistent, and the sprint races have been really good for our championship standings, despite not winning any feature races. The sprint races have been pretty decent. That's the reason that we are leading the championship. But now we are demoted into 4th place, and there goes Marcus Armstrong. And you can see just in front of the replay camera, it is Pedro Piquet. So if we want to get a podium, we need to overtake these two guys and guarantee a 3-second gap to Pedro Piquet. So it's going to be really close, but I think we are capable of doing that, because let's be honest, we are a much faster car part of tire, going wide once again into turn 3, but thankfully no warnings, and now you're going to see the pace difference against Marcus Armstrong gaining already a little bit. You can see that we caught him a little bit just by the eye vision into turn 4, so definitely we are much faster, locking up a little bit, because there's no tire blankets in this sport, so we need still to put some temperature in these tires. But I think the maximum we can get, the minimum we can get I should say, it is P4, because I think we can get a 3-second gap pretty easily on Marcus Armstrong. So we're going to carry good momentum through this long right hander and through Kamsa, and now we have the TRS open. Are we going to dive on the inside? Yes, we're going to do that. Make sure to hit the apex, not any sort of contact, and you can see how much confident I am, and that's us into 4th place of this feature race. And we're going to see the replay just to see that there was any sort of contact. It was a very clean overtake, but I'm not very surprised because of the performance, and we're going to set a faster lap, I believe, on this lap through the final corner across the line. And yes, it is fastest lap, 1:30.5. I think we are 1.5 seconds faster than Pedro Piquet, but we need to be really careful with these tires, because these softs are going to wear out pretty quickly. So I think this is the reason that it's going to be really hard to guarantee a 3-second gap to Pedro Piquet. But I'm going to try to do everything, and we'll see what we can do through turn 3. You can see that we are already gaining a little bit just to see the performance difference against these two comparative tires. Once again receiving a little bit of a warning, and PK going a little bit slow, so maybe starting to feel the struggles of the tire wear around this track. Are we going to dive on the inside? Yes, we're going to do so, but we run a little bit deep, and PK is going to come back and gets a decent traction and remains ahead, and we have to settle behind in 4th place. So this is not really good for us, as he's going a little bit defensive, trying to get a little bit of the single shot, but now we're going to have DRS, but this is not really good because we're losing time and we still need that 3-second gap. And look how much space that we can carry, and he's blocking us a little bit, and we almost crashed. But anyway, we're going to try to go around the outside this time. Are we going to make the move stick? We run a little bit wide, we step a little bit on the tire marbles, and PK is doing a brilliant job on defending this position. You can see first that how slow he was, and he was kind of blocking my line, but anyway, fair enough. He's defending this podium for his life, because if he scores points, it's going to be his first points of the season, so, and it will be a great way to score his first points by scoring a podium. But now we're going to try to solve this problem on the start-finish straight, open the TRS, and we're going to start to gaining it a little bit, not gaining that much quickly because I'm going with a high downforce setup, but as you can see, that was a pretty easy move, and that's us into the final step of the podium. Markelov leads, followed by Matsushita, and then myself. But now what we need to do is guarantee a 3-second gap, and we'll see what we can do. But you can see already on the last lap we are with 80% of tire wear, so anytime soon we can get a puncture. So definitely the tire wear is pretty critical, and PK managed to stay within 1 second. So unfortunately we're going to finish in P4 in this race. Markelov wins the feature race. On track we're going to be on the final step of the podium, but thanks to the penalty he's going to be 4th place.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
So another fantastic victory for Arden today. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
This race, this win, was about one thing and one thing only: consistency. Anyone can be quick for just 1 lap, but there's a difference between that and being quick every lap, over and over and over. If you can do that, if you can gain ground when your opponents make mistakes, but then not make mistakes on your own, you can just push and push.
And it's time now for the podium celebrations. And how well deserved is this one? This is a team all about giving talented young drivers an opportunity to race and to win. Arden are your winners here today.
It was very unfortunate to miss out the podium. The start was really bad, so that compromised the race win, and I think the alternate strategy wasn't the best way to go in this race. So it is what it is. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes the alternate strategy can be an absolutely banger of a strategy, can be a strategic masterstroke, but it wasn't the case today, and the final result was not even a podium. But congrats to PK, scored the first points of the season. You can see that in the driver standings we drop a little bit to Matsushita because he got 2nd place. Schumacher dropped a little bit in the standings because he didn't score any sort of points. Schumacher has been absolutely nowhere in this weekend, so that's really unfortunate. But anyway, now we're going to the 2nd race. We're going to start in 5th place. We'll see if we can put a good show.
And we're back. After yesterday's feature race, the top 8 drivers have been reversed on the grid, setting up some exciting action as we launch into today's event, the sprint race. Davide, is there anything we should be looking for in today's race? The teams are all very competitive at the moment, so are we about to witness a push from anyone in particular?
Hi Alex, the team will have been studying everyone else out there very carefully, so I think we are in for a very interesting event today. I can't wait to see how this race unfolds.
And here we are on the track, ready to the final race of the episode, the sprint race, starting in 5th place and no stops at all. But you're going to see anytime soon the strategy. We have a problem like we had in the previous 2 rounds. We have guys starting on the soft tires. It's impossible. There's no way that these guys are going to do the whole race on the softer competitive tire. So I can confirm that unfortunately this is a glitch and needs to be fixed. But anyway, we have a race ahead of us. The sprint race on pole position is one of the ARTs, and it slides out, and the way we go. It was an absolutely terrible of a start. You can see how good the start was on Pedro Piquet. No surprise, it is on the softer competitive tire. It's going to drop. There's no way that these guys are going to carry the soft tires till the end of this race for the entirety of this race, as we go into turn 1 side by side with Julian Lacey. And we're going to go and try to now hold around outside through turn 1. You're going to have the better traction thanks to that softer competitive tire, and we are forced to go wide, and we are dropping a lot of positions at the start. And now we are side by side with second place in the championship, Matsushita, but we managed to get a good run around the outside and of Julian Lacey as well. So that was a pretty impressive run through turn 4, and we are in 7th place for the time being, but definitely is going to be much higher because these guys have to stop. Like I said, there's no way that these guys are going to carry these soft tires for the entirety of the race. Meanwhile, it is a 1-2 for the IRT, but it is Marcus Armstrong that is leading the race because Christian Lundgaard, that started on the pole position, is on the soft competitive tire, so definitely is out of the race win contention. But anyway, we're going to press on, and these guys are going really slow. Down inside we go off the other Arden of Markelov, but he gets a good run. I step a little bit on the curb. I was a little bit hesitant, and we have to stick behind 7th place. So this guy seems to be really slow, the guys on the soft tires. So this gives me a little bit of a confidence to maybe get the potential podium. It's going to depend of the guys on the hard tires. I think at the moment who's on the hards, it is Armstrong, Ilott, and then myself, if I'm not wrong. So definitely, and the Djukovic, I'm not entirely sure if it is on the harder competitive tire. But anyway, PK seems to be dropping a lot. I forgot to show the overtake on Markelov, so apologies for that. Great, you know, editing skills, Tom. That's pretty good. That's very good of me. Anyway, we're going to try to go run outside of PK that score the podium on the first race. He has a good traction, so he's holding very tightly, so doing a very good defensive job. As now we are side by side through turn 3. Who's going to get the better run? Very equal in the straight line speed, and we're going to try to now go run the outside. He has a good run, but no chance at all because the soft tires are starting to go away a little bit, and we are in 5th place of this Spanish Grand Prix, and in 3rd place it is Jack Aitken. So I was forgetting about Aitken, that it is on the podium places at the moment in Campos' home race. Remember that Campos is a Spanish team. But anyway, Ilott seems to be struggling at the moment, and you can see that these guys are pitting. So the guys that started on the softs are pitting, and like I was saying, this is an issue that we have in this F2 2020 update. Is the guys that on the sprint races, some of the guys are going with the alternate strategy, are going to start on the softer competitive tire, which is not the way to go in most of these sprint races. And at the end of the day, it kind of ruins the thing. It makes things easier for the guys that started on the right strategy, like myself. But anyway, I think this needs to be fixed as soon as possible. So I hope that Codemaster takes a notice on this glitch, because I think it makes racing a little bit less fair, let's be honest. But anyway, substream on Callum Ilott, down inside we go, and are we going to be able to make this move, locking up a little bit? And Guilherme Samaia is out of the race, so now we have a safety car. So we got this position, we are in B3 at the moment, at the absolutely right time, and this is the reason of the safety car. Guilherme Samaia is out of the sprint race, and like it happened in the previous 2 rounds, we have safety car on the sprint race. So I don't know if this is a glitch or not, maybe it is coincident, but we always had a safety car on the sprint races, and we already had a lot of DNFs in the feature races, but no safety car at all. And this safety car was very long. You can see that we are already on lap 9, we're getting ready to the restart, and I think it will make more sense to deploy the virtual safety car, because Samaia pulled to a safe spot on the track. But anyway, we're going to try to get a good restart in this race. I think we have 5 laps to go to the end, till the end of this race. The race is underway once again, and we'll see if we can get a good run on Jack Aitken. A little bit slow through the final corner, and here we go. Marcus Armstrong followed by Aitken, and then myself trying to get a little bit of a slipstream of the Campos. We are a little bit low on the straight line speed, but are we going to dare a dive on the inside? No, we're going to just think better of that, and we're going to stick behind the Campos. We are in a very good position at the moment. Matsushita is right behind us, the 2nd place, so there's no need to risk, because we would be gaining points on the championship standings. But Aitken is going very slow through turn 3. I wonder if it has damage. I don't think so, but anyway, we're going to try to go run outside this time like we did on PK. And are we going to get a good run? Make sure to use all the track available. Try to not step a little bit on the grass. us, which we do so that was a little bit anticlimactic. Aitken tried to hold the Iranian side by side action, pretty epic, and with all this, Lundgaard is getting away and probably is going to get his first race win of the season, and Aitken is going to try on the inside, still side by side, pretty epic stuff, and Matsushita is getting closer and closer, and we're still side by side now for Kamsa, but we managed to hold around the outside, almost stepping on the gravel, and Aitken is going to come back as we go. Who's going to break later is going to be basically at the same time. We're going to try to go on the inside to try to giving a little bit of a squeeze, and finally we get second place of this sprint race. Brilliant stuff between me and Jack Aitken, and that's us into second place, and who's leading the race leader is already more than 2.5 seconds ahead of us. So I want to say that he has a race in the bag. So now what we want to do is break the DRS window. We're already on the last lap, try to set the first lap of the Grand Prix, but there's no way that we're going to do that because there's guys on the softer competitive tires. But anyway, we're going through the final couple of corners, locking up massively, and the Aitken is going to get a little bit close. He's trying to go run aside through the chicane, but I managed to park the car in the middle of the track very awkwardly. Lundgaard wins his first race of the season, and for us, we're going to be gifted a podium thanks to those crazy strategy, which I think it makes things a little bit unfair, but anyway, it is a podium and a positive weekend.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Victory for ART then, after a quality performance. So, Davide, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
The safety car made a big difference today, there's no doubt about that. That can be certain, but it would have been a very different race and probably podium too without it. What I do know is that they came out of that situation in a favorable position. The safety car really does alter the balance of the race.
An amazing race today, and a very well-deserved one too. The team worked very hard to get exactly the right setup out of the F2 car. It works for them, and the results speak for themselves. ARTGP winners today.
There you go. At the end of the day, we managed to score a podium. And yeah, like I was saying, these strategies are really stupid because it ruined things. I shouldn't be getting a podium in normal conditions, let's be honest. Yeah, it's a little bit stupid, these strategies, but anyway, Lundgaard wins. He actually set the fastest lap on the final lap, so that is pretty impressive to see, to say the least. And for us, he's second place, 12 points in the back. And you can see that Schumacher scored points in the start in P14. That's due to the stupid strategies, and Delatraz was pretty close to score a single point in this race. But championship standings, we extend our lead over Matsushita, but the lead is not that big. Everything can happen in F2, so we'll see what we can do in the next episode, which is going to be the Monaco Grand Prix, one of the jewels over the calendar. So I'm really looking forward to that race, where track position means absolutely everything. So I'm really looking forward for that race, and the Constructors' Championship, Prem is still in the first place. But guys, that has been episode 3 of my F2 2020 career mode as Robert Shwartzman. I hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure to smash subscribe to grab your new, see plenty more Formula 1 content and F2 content. Really motivates me to make more. If you could do that, I would be very thankful. And to close the video off, I want to thank you to all of you guys for the 800 subscribers. We gained 100 new subscribers in less than a month. That is the first on my channel, so I'm really happy to see that you guys are enjoying my content, and I'm really happy as well. So let's keep pushing during this year, and let's get that magical 1K and push for even more. So once again, thanks for the support, and I'll see you guys for brand new next time when F2 returns.